are 3 tips that you would leave moms, I guess medical mom warriors, whether they're the person going through it or their child is going through it, or someone like you and I both went through where you were going through your own thing and you still have a child that had some medical issues. What would you leave them with? 3 tips or strategies?
The number one tip is to trust your gut. Your intuition is given to you for a reason. These special kiddos are given to you. I do think on purpose, because there's something about us as medical moms that we have a different type of intuition than the normal parent. And so we have to trust that. When we know something's off, you pursue it because it probably is. 9 times out of 10, it probably is. And I'd go as far as 9.9% out of 10, it probably is. So that's number one. Number 2, I mentioned earlier, feel free to fire your team and move on to someone new, because the minute you are not in agreement with your doctor, you are hurting your health. And so you need to prepare you for the best outcome possible. And you have to have doctors that are willing to work with you and go the extra mile. Case in point, her new GP for the place that we've just moved to, he actually researched every single one of her diagnoses before we ever stepped in the first day. He goes, I learned so much through everything you have going on. I didn't know some of these existed. I was like, oh, we like you already. Like, like we're sold, right? And he calls us, he takes time to communicate with us, and you want those things out of a doctor. It doesn't necessarily mean you want their cell phone on speed dial, but you definitely want that open communication. Although I have had a doctor do that for me. And then the third tip, really look at holistic tools. Don't dismiss them. Because back to our conversation earlier, when you're just taking these medications and these drugs, they have effects. And I am not just saying that you shouldn't take medication. There's a new medication my kiddo's on that has helped her tremendously. And it's one that I was going to mention to you once we got offline. But I really want to encourage your audience to look at the effects of all your medications. This is really, really important. I know somebody who is on 12 different medications. They're 76 years old, and they wonder why they can't eat anything. Well, you've got this one, and to make this one work, you got to have this one, and then to counteract the effects of this one, you got to have the third one. So
been there.
Oh my gosh. Ask for what's called a pharmaceutical review is what it's called. And you have one doctor look at all the medications and really look at the side effects and see what's cross doing. Because oftentimes we'll get a medication from a GI and a cardio and a GP, and none of them, they see them on the med list, but they're not really thinking through that they can cross interact. So that's part of really also looking at holistic tools. One of the things that I do drink my sweet tea. I'm a sweet tea drinking girl. So I get my caffeine from my sweet tea. I'm not a coffee drinker. But if I need a pick me up, like today, I've got a couple other things happening today after our conversation. I am going to find my B complex, and I'm going to find my K2D3. Those two together act like a caffeinated boost. A lot of people don't know that. And I do everything by tincture due to some surgery that I had. So I just drop my couple drops in and I'm ready to go. So looking for those holistic tools are really going to serve you well as well.